Hello, this is Megan with Little Gray Squirrel, and today I'm going to show you how to add the hearts and swashes using the Hello Honey font. I've seen a lot of people ask how to do that, so I thought I'd show 3 different ways that you can do that. 2 using just the basic version of Silhouette Studio, and 1 using the Designer Edition or above, which accesses the glyphs support. I also have a post on my site about how to see the glyphs in basic fonts. I'll put a link to that in the description. For example, using the I Love Glitter font, it shows that the swashes and the hearts are in the actual characters of the font. And then you may have also used the Brand Ball font before, which uses the swashes as the numbers. So there's lots of different ways that designers can add glyphs to their fonts. That's one way. Another way is to add it to the private use area of the font, and I'll show how to do that here in just a second. If you wanted to know what is available in the different versions of Silhouette Studio, I have put together a Silhouette Studio software comparison chart, and it shows all of the features of Silhouette and then broken down for each edition what is included and what's not. So I'll put a link to that also if you want to check that out. It also describes how to use Silhouette upgrades, how much they cost, and some other common questions that people have about Silhouette software upgrades. So first you need to download the font. So again, I'm working with Hello Honey. I got it from Creative Fabrica. I will also put a link to that in the description below. Once you download the font, you want to unzip the file, and then you want to select, you'll notice here there's 6 files. 3 of them are OpenType font, 3 of them are TrueType font. You only want to download the OpenType font. So just select those 3, right click, and choose Install for all users. I've already installed it, so I can go ahead and close this. Once you install a new font, if you had Silhouette Studio open, you want to make sure you close it and then reopen it so that the fonts show up in your textile panel. And now we can start designing. So again, I mentioned there's 3 ways. We'll do the first version because it's the quickest and easiest using the Glyph panel. You can use it in Designer Edition, so I'm just going to change my software here to Designer Edition. It would work in Business, but just in case somebody only has Designer Edition, I'm not using any features that it wouldn't have. I have already typed this out as kind of a guide. Obviously, you would be doing different names, not Hello Honey, but you probably want to type those out to give you an idea of what letters that you're going to be working with. So we're just going to recreate Hello Honey. So click on the text icon and then click on your screen, and I'm just going to type an H, and I'm going to open my textile tab and then click on Glyphs. So I have Hello Honey is the font that I'm using, and you'll start to see the glyphs. So these are the characters and numbers first. These are all in order. You'll see characters and numbers, and then the capital letters, if you want any of those. Then the lowercase letters, some more characters and symbols, and then it goes down into the additional glyphs. So first is the lowercase letter with the heart, and you'll notice that the heart is always following the letter. So we'll get back to that in a minute. And then we get down to the swash that's off to the left with the lowercase letter. So the first one here is a H. So I'm going to select this H. And now I can go back and delete the first H that I had as a placeholder. Now I'm going to go back up to the basic lowercase and select E, L, L. And then we want to go down to the hearts because this O is connected to a heart. And then select the O with the heart. Now we're going to go back up to the regular H, and then the O, N, E, and then the last Y has this ending tail, so we'll go all the way down to where the swashes go off to the right, and select the Y. So now it's all combined. It was typed out at one time, and it's already connected. If you wanted to cut this, remember that the letters are not joined, so you would need to right click and weld so that it cut out in one piece. So that is Hello Honey using the Glyphs panel. Now I'm going to show you the 2 ways you can do this without Designer Edition. So I'm going to go into Help and View in the Standard Edition. So now this is just the free version of Silhouette software. You can see every time I change it to a lower version, it removes some of the features here. I'm going to open the textile panel. And you can see that the glyph option is gone, and I have recently used this Hello Honey here. So Hello Honey is, you saw we downloaded the 3 different font files. So there's the Hello Honey, which would look like this. Then there's the Hello Honey Connecting Hearts, which looks like this if you typed out the words Hello Honey. And then this one is Hello Honey Tail. And if you typed out Hello Honey, this is what it would be. You'll notice that the first H has the tail to the left, and that's because the capital letters have the tail to the left, the lowercase letters have the tail to the right. So you can use that to your advantage here in a minute. So you can see this one here, I typed capital H, lowercase h, and it has one on either side. Okay, so to create a whole phrase that's connected, you'll have to do this using the 3 different fonts. So you can't change part of a word from one font to the other in the same word. So we'll have to type 3 different sections to make these different parts of the word and then connect them together. So again, using just Hello Honey as our guide, we want the tail to the left, the ELL as standard letters, the O with the heart, the HONE as standard letters, and the Y to the right. All we have to do is create 3 text boxes. It's going to be one for each font with the letters for each of those different font styles. So I'll create a text box, and I'm going to type out the fonts that have the tails. So first will be a capital H for the left swash, and then a lowercase y for the right swash. Now I'm going to go up and create a new text box, and this will be the basic letters. So we have ELLO and then HONE. And it's okay that these are all together. We have to separate them anyway. So this just saves us a step by typing just 3 text boxes instead of like 5. And then finally we have another text box. And this will be the heart. So we just need an O. And now we can change them to the correct font. So the first one is the tails. This one is already what it needs to be, and then the O, change it to the connecting heart. Now I'm going to right click and ungroup, and then I'm going to connect the ones that stay together so that I don't have to rearrange them. So HONE, I'm going to right click and group. Oh, I guess we didn't need this O here. Right click, group. I'm going to separate these. Right click, ungroup, and then now I can roughly put them in order. Just selecting and moving, and then I'll zoom in so I can line them up properly. So in the font itself, when you type it out, they just barely overlap. So we'll do that for these, and then this one. And these, and finally the last, and then we can select them all, right click and weld. Now if we were to fill with color, we have our text how we want it. Okay, that's the second way that we can do it. The third way is using the character map. So here is another little thing I put together, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. To find your character map, if you haven't used it before, go down to your bottom toolbar, the taskbar on your computer, and type here to search, and just type in character map, and then select it to open it, and it will open up here. You go to this top space, this is where the fonts are, and you scroll to the font that you want to use. I'm going to show you this Hello Honey. I did download the personal use one just to see what it looked like. I also own the license for the commercial use one, so that's what I'm using. The personal use looked the same as the single Hello Honey. It just didn't include the Hello Honey connecting heart and the Hello Honey tail like the commercial use one does. But this will still work with the personal use one. Okay, so I'm just going to select Hello Honey, and then make sure you click on any one of these boxes. If you start scrolling without doing that, it'll scroll through all your fonts and you won't be in the correct font that you should be. So here we are in Hello Honey, and you can see the characters and numbers and the capital letters, lowercase letters, and then as you start to scroll down, you'll have to go through all of the other characters in the private use area, which is what this is down here. And the parts that we're going to need are all the way down here. So they're approximately, if you line up this little cursor with this second line here, it's pretty close. So then we'll just go up a few times and you can see them come into the screen. All right, so we're going to recreate this John and Sally. So first we need the J with the tail off to the left. So you can see this is really small, so this is why it's not ideal to use this, but if it's the only way that you can, then it works. So this is an A with the heart, and it goes through the alphabet with the hearts, and then here is the first one. This is A with the tail to the left. So B, C, D's over here. So I'm going to click on the J, and then I'm going to select it, and it's going to show up in this little box down here. So click copy, and now I'm going to click on my silhouette software, and then I need to open a text box. So select that and click, and then I'm going to right click and paste. And that gives me this little box, which means that it copied from the private use area. So click off of that, select it again, and then you go to your fonts and click on Hello Honey. And there is the J that we were looking for. So now for the OH, I can create a text box and just type OH, lowercase. Click off of that, click back on, and then I go up to my recents because that's where it was. So now I have OH. And the N has the heart on it. So we'll go back to the character map and we're going to look for the N with the heart on it, which that's the M. There's the N. So we want to click select. There it is. Copy it. Click on our screen. Grab a text, make a text box. Click on the screen. Right click, paste. Here's our box. We have to click off of it and back on to select it. And then go back to Hello Honey. And now we have our N. So we'll do another text box, and we will type the SALL. Click off of that, select it, choose Hello Honey, and then now the last one we need to do is the Y. We'll go back to the character map, and then you see if we go down, so here's the A with the tails to the right. So we need to go to the Y, so Z, here's the Y, click select, copy, select our screen, open a new text box, click the screen, right click, paste, click off, click back on, and change it to Hello Honey. So if we could probably save a step, so we have the J, the N with the heart, and the Y. So if we went to the character map and we clicked on the J, select, the N with the heart, select, and the Y, select, we can select all these and copy, open a new text box, right click, paste, click off, click back on, and then change it to Hello Honey. Then we would just right click, ungroup, and we would have our letter. So if it saves you a couple extra steps, you can do it that way, or you can do each letter at a time if that's easier for you to put it together. And then again, make sure, I'm going to zoom in here, make sure you line up your letters so that they're just overlapping and they're in the right place. Select, right click, weld, and that way they will cut all in one piece. Okay, so that's the 3 ways that you can add the hearts and swashes in Hello Honey. The first one being the easiest, using the Glyphs panel. The second one, a little more involved, using the 3 different fonts. And then finally the character map has a couple extra steps, so it's probably the most time consuming, but it's doable in either Basic Edition or any of the paid upgrades of Silhouette Studio. Okay, now I will show you how you can create a project using Hello Honey font. For the text for mom, you just type out the word mom and then you choose whatever font you want. For this one I'm going to use Times New Roman. And then you have your names already typed out. You just want to select them, make sure they're welded together. So right click and weld. And then see how this I is its own little box? You want to make sure that it's all grouped together. So I'm going to select these and group. And now I'm going to do an offset. So the offset you can do in any version of the software. So you just click on this little star and select offset, and then we're just going to decrease the distance of the offset until we get it to where we want. And the size of this offset is what's going to determine the amount of white space we have between the names and the mom. So you can make it any size you want. Let's do 0.035 for this one, and then I'm going to click off of it and select the inside the original text and drag it away. And then select all this to make sure it's all one piece, and it is. And then we'll just line it up with the mom. So if we did an object, or even use this tool here, and did center middle, see the heart's kind of not in a nice place. So we can actually line this up so it's a little more visually appealing. And it doesn't really affect the names. It still looks pretty good in the end. And then we want to select both of these, and I'm going to duplicate it just so I have an extra sitting around. So then select both of these again. We're going to go up to Object, Modify, and Subtract. It's going to cut out everything that this offset was over. And then you might see we have this tiny little piece here. We can go ahead and delete this. So we'll just select it and hit delete on the keyboard. This one we can leave because it's a little bit bigger. So we'll select all of these, right click, group, and then we can fill this with any color we want. Let's do black, black line, black fill, and now we can place it in the middle of our design. I'll just use the keys here, the cursor keys, to line it up, down. And now we have a fun design. I hope this video helped you learn how to use glyphs in a font. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos where we have fun and make stuff.